Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of State of the Union. If you're listening online, put down that damn app, get on YouTube and watch it because we're doing another video episode with none other than Cody Duet of likesushi. Cody, thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. So I guess go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, how you kind of got into this whole game to begin with.
It was a store called Pivot Foot. You remember Pivot Foot?
No, so I grew up in Lafayette, so I'm far removed from all this stuff.
Are you from Baton Rouge?
No, Lafayette.
I transplanted to Baton Rouge 7 years ago, so.
Okay, no, then you would have missed Pivot Foot.
Yeah.
So, in 2006, maybe it was 2007, because I didn't find the store right away.
Mm-hmm.
I found Sneaker Politics on MySpace.
Yeah.
I remember finding it on MySpace. And like, whoa, like he had this picture, like it's like, oh man, like I can see it, it's clear as day. And it's like he had the photo, and it's like you could see that the walls were lime green.
Yeah. Oh, the Lafayette store. I remember that.
And I was a year into college, and I had just got back onto Nike Talk real heavy.
Yeah.
Because I got away from sneakers 15, 16, 17, just wasn't interested. And I got back into it senior year, just like boredom senior year. And when I got to college, just like bored at school, didn't like LSU. So I was like looking for things to do. So I went and get a job, and I figured I'd just go work at Foot Action. I can sell sneakers. I had gone in there. A guy had sold me on I think I bought the Jordan 21s.
Okay.
The ones with the removable pods.
Oh, yeah.
Because at that point, I was still really into I was always into getting the latest ones. When retros first came out, I didn't get it. It wasn't for me. I remember being a kid seeing the cement threes on the shelves, in Southland Mall in Houma, because that's around where I'm from.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, man. I got the Tour yellow fours, the white fours with the yellow and black accents with the removable tongue.
Yeah.
When they made them the first time, I got those in the mall. 2006, I believe. On sale, super cheap. They still had 2001 ones on the shelf
sitting there
in the mall 5 years later.
And that's the thing. I wasn't up on it at the time, but everything I read is people from the time saying that, when they started retroing ones, retro culture wasn't really a thing yet. So it was you still wanted the latest and greatest. You weren't nostalgic for something just yet.
Nah, man, because you got to think the 16s, the ones in the briefcase, right? The Air Jordan 16s.
Yeah.
It's got the shroud, and it comes in the briefcase.
Right, yeah.
He's back with the Wizards at that point. I wasn't sneakers for me, it was a style thing, but it was an on the court style thing. I didn't wear basketball sneakers off the court as a kid.
Yeah.
I wore Air Max and Air Walks.
That was my first pair of shoes, was Air Walks.
A lot of man, I probably owned a dozen pair of all white Air Max 90s in my life. I grew up in a small town, and the style was very preppy. It was Abercrombie and stuff. And I always kind of found fashion on TV because again, it's a small town.
Yeah. And
it just wasn't looking the way you wanted to look was very not easy living in a small town.
Yeah.
So I went totally off tangent, but going back to that, so I find Sneaker Politics on MySpace, drive out to Lafayette, go check that out. And at that point, I'm on Google, sneaker boutique. I'd never even heard the term, you know? I don't know. And first of all, the term boutique was still kind of new. I always associated that growing up as exactly the way it sounds, a dainty room, white, pink, maybe it's dresses. Boutique, right? The idea of sneakers, and at that time is they were trying to do that mesh of sneakers and blazers and stuff, I was I guess sneakers can be dressy. I just thought it was cool because I had read for years on Nike, I followed the retro of the 11 in 2001, the same year that they retroed the ones. I followed that on Nike Talk for years because when they came out in 96, I got the Concords as a kid. But there's no internet. So I found out that there was an all-black pair with the red bottom. The way you find out in real life. Some other kid got them. And I remember my parents brought me to the store, the one small store that we had in our town that would get them, right? And it was like the first time I'd ever gone to the store. And it's like, oh no, they're sold out. I'm like, they're sold out?
What does that mean?
No, for real. I was like, what do you mean? Like, so you guys aren't getting any more? You can't order them?
Yeah.
Like the same questions that people ask. You come to the store and say, you can't order me no Yeezys?
Yeah.
You know, but this is 1996, and like I still remember. I remember like crying, like bawling, being unconsolable.
Yeah.
So like that was I'd have been 10 in 96. So by the time I was like 12 or 13 is when I found Nike Talk. Like when the internet came about, and Nike Talk at that point is just people like in major cities, like these dudes who are like probably like realistically the guys who like are the reason why sneaker culture is the way it is. Like I'd say it's like them, then a generation of kids like me in other towns who found it on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, they're retroing these shoes, they're re-releasing them, and I just remember thinking like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Like,
Finally, I've been waiting all this time.
no, like for real, like holy shit. And
Yeah.
because I got my start in trading cards. Like I say I got my start. My cousin gave me a 1992 Michael Jordan Skybox in 92 when I was 6 in a little frame. He framed it. And he's like, here, this is for you. I'm like, what's this? And he's like, it's a basketball card. I'm like, what's it do? And he's like, oh, well, he's like, it's Michael Jordan. I'm like, who's that? And, you know, he's like, this is what Michael Jordan is. And a basketball. Well, I lie. I think I had just been introduced recently into the Michael Jordan thing and got like into it. So he got me that as a gift. And I'm like, so what do I do with this? So I just put it on my shelf. He's like, well, it's worth money. I'm like, how much money? He's like, well, it'll probably go up in value. I was like, well, how much did you pay for it? He's like, I got it out of a pack. I'm like, what do you mean?
Oh.
So he explains the whole, like you buy a pack for whatever it was, $2. And if, you know, they're all worth different values. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me you spent $2 and this is worth 20 or whatever? And I was like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And I like, you know, I am so much of that generation of wanting to be like Mike. Like wanting to be like Mike. So like, especially because I'm adopted, man. Like Michael Jordan didn't look like my parents and I didn't look like my parents. I didn't look like him, but he didn't look like them neither. And that just had like that's the kind of like the way it like meshed in my brain. I got into the sneakers because I was playing basketball because I wanted to be like Mike. But I always took really good care of my sneakers. Like I didn't wear them off the court. I probably wouldn't even wear my Jordans to practice. I'd only wear them for games because in my mind, basketball cards are worth something. Everything that's associated with this guy is going to be worth something. And then it's a bit morbid. I was like, when he dies,
Yeah, that's true.
and you see it with Kobe. You saw it happen with Kobe.
Yeah, the exact same thing.
So I'm back to Nike Talk and back to 2006, and I'm Googling sneaker boutiques, and sure enough, there's one right here up in Baton Rouge where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I drive over to Town Center, and at the time, Town Center was brand new. I think the Town Center was like a year old, and sure enough, it's a place called Pivot Foot, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a sneaker boutique. It's a basketball term, and his store was the very first sneaker store that wasn't Foot Locker that I ever spent extensive time in. And that's where I got my first job outside of the mall, was Pivot Foot. He and Derek at Sneaker Politics were like running the same race at the exact same time. And I can only say that, and forgive me, Derek, I'm not trying to put your business out there.
Yeah.
We both got our Nike accounts at the same time. 2006, because when I think that's the year Derek opened. I hadn't been there. I didn't start working at Pivot Foot 2007. But when the first time I went in there, he had Adidas, Reebok,
New Balance.
didn't have New Balance, Adidas, Reebok, and Creative Recreation.
Oh wow.
And one other thing, that's what Pivot Foot had. And Derek's big thing the first time I went in his is he had the streetwear, which Pivot Foot did not have, but he had all his personal stuff in Greedy Genius.
I've heard that story.
So as he gets his Adidas and Reebok, it's like he got Adidas and Reebok, we got Adidas and Reebok, none of that. Then Nike rolls around, and like I still remember meeting our Nike rep. Like Nike rep would come, he had a duffel bag full of left shoes.
Yeah, he just left.
All size 9.
Yeah.
And I remember when our Nike rep left, I can't think of his name for nothing, but he the way he phrased it, like, going to Portland.
Oh yeah.
So he got a promotion. You know, he wasn't
okay.
a sales rep anymore. But I worked at Pivot Foot. I got on Pivot Foot with Courtney Howes, who does the Dope Game.
I don't think I know who that is.
She's from Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And from Brandon Williams, who does Claima Stories.
Also don't know who that is. I
He's
have
from
so
Baton
much
Rouge.
to learn. Yeah.
Man, yes. Brandon has his own podcast, which is huge right now. Yeah, you check that out. Claima, CLA, like claim, but with an A at the end.
Okay.
So it was us three, and what was my girl's name? There was one other girl who worked with us, but she left when it was me, Brandon, and Courtney. And then we worked for a guy named Cy Parker.
Okay.
Cy Parker. Cy's mother-in-law is one Sharon Broom. Mayor Sharon Broom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my first boss is son-in-law of the mayor now. Shoot. So look,
No pressure.
Funny story, right? I'm about to tell the story, Cy. Sorry.
Yeah.
So working together for a year, I was there for about a half a year, and he tells me, Cody, I got some bad news. Sarah's pregnant, which was his fiance at the time. And I believe they had a child already together. And now Cy is like 29 at this time. He was a little younger than I am now. And he's like, I got X amount of dollars left for the business. He's like, I can keep this in the business. And like I said, we had gotten, I think, like 3 or 4 Quick Strike Nike packs at that time.
Okay.
That didn't sell out.
Yeah.
But, we're getting it. It's what's on the blog.
Yeah, one.
Singular.
It's on like
just talk.
it's on Hype Beast. I think Nice Kicks was still selling fake shoes at this time. No, dude, like Nice Kicks used to be a fake website.
What, it was rep?
Didn't it start as a blog? No.
Nice Kicks.
Nice Kicks.
Nice Kicks started as but I'm almost one. And I no offense, Nice Kicks. One of the major sneaker blogs started like I want to say that they got the domain from someone who the domain was originally like fake. Because in 2005, 2006, like all that Jordans, a Nice Kicks, Kicks for sale, all that stuff. Yeah. It's all clear Jordans, SpongeBob Jordans and stuff. So he's like, I could put the money into the business. I think we'll do fine. He's like, but I got a kid on the way. And we just talked about how I just became a father. I 1,000, I got it at the time, but I 1,000,000,000% get where he's coming from now.
Yeah.
So he was going to sell the store to Derek. And the story gets really long, but what ended up happening is I met the guys from Refresh, and they ended up buying Pivot Foot. So Sneaker Politics Baton Rouge would have happened in 2007 originally. But instead Refresh Baton Rouge happened right before Refresh New Orleans happened. Damn. So that's how I ended up at Refresh.
Okay, gotcha. So from there, then where did you go? What was between Pivot Foot and likesushi getting started?
I spent 8 years with running a store called Refresh with my business partner.
With Wayne?
With my business partner in likesushi, Wayne. And we left in early 2016. We were both kind of done with retail, to be honest.
Yeah.
Kind of burnt out on that. We used to work a lot of hours. He spent the middle part of that year focusing on taking back, I guess you'd say, going back into his true field, which is brand direction, graphic design, stuff like that, which is what he's doing with French Truck Coffee right now. And man, I was going through some really serious personal stuff at the time. That's actually the same time I got rid of all of my sneakers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I currently to this day own these on my feet, both the Fear of Gods, Mickey Mouse band, 5-7 pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you got out of it. You were like, I'm done with sneakers for a while now.
Man, what happened was, real quick, my fiance right now, she and I split up. We were living together, number of reasons, but one of them was that I worked a little too much, and that's just true. This is what's true. And when I kind of had my own little nervous breakdown about it, the biggest thing I took away from it personally was this is what people are talking about when they're saying you can lose things if you're not paying attention, blah, 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 blah. So I kind of got really disgusted with myself, and in turn got really disgusted with the things that I thought had led to the situation, which I felt were self-centeredness, which was like delved deeply in like materialism and like ego and image. And I looked up one day, man, and we talked about this a little earlier about like wanting to be like Mike, like really falling into
Yeah.
that. I had this shrine to Michael Jordan in my room in this form of all these sneakers, right?
Mm.
And then I walked around my apartment. I didn't have a single photo of myself up. I didn't have a single photo of her and I up. I didn't have my college diploma up. And I was like, I got a shrine to this man in my room. And I was like, I don't have a single. I was like, I'm celebrating his life and his accomplishments every day. Every time I put on a pair of shoes. Every time, you know, blah, blah, blah in my work. I was like, but what about me? Like, really, what about me?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. I'm over it. I started parting out. First, I got rid of the stuff that I never wore, that I didn't want.
Yeah.
Then I got rid of stuff that I, like, when I got into, really got into sneaker collecting, like, and bought, like, SBs. Like, I probably had about a dozen, 2 dozen SBs, all that are all, like, on StockX for $1,500 right now.
Yeah.
I had them in size 8.5 and 9. I was doing the math on the drive over here. Probably in its peak, my 250 pairs of sneakers, like, if I would have played it smart and parted them all out in the last like year or two.
Yeah.
Probably got like a $75,000 sneaker collection. Just because I know there's a good 50 in there that were of the 250, there's a good 50 that are all have fetched $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
That's crazy.
And I think maybe part of me thought 4 or 5 years ago that was the high moment. So, you know, it's a little bit of short-sightedness.
Yeah.
You know?
Still could see it though.
But it's hard because like even right now it feels like the high moment, but like 5 years from now,
yeah, who knows?
this might feel like even it wasn't even there yet.
3 years ago when I had Union, I thought that was the high moment.
Yeah.
I had already sold all my sneakers at that point. The last look, you know, it's funny, you know what I sold in Union? I put all of my Nike Yeezys for sale.
Yeah.
All the whole first set, and my the first color in the 750s. I wish I'd have kept my 750s because I think I'll tell you why I sold the Nike Yeezys. So like everybody loves the blinks, the black ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are cool, and everybody loves the tan ones. The best Nike Yeezy to me is the first one, the gray.
Yeah.
The Zen Gray.
With the pink and the orange
Yeah.
interior, like. But I just never had my size. I had a 9 that was too big. I had an 8, it was too small. Like that was a shoe that you needed your exact size. So it's like I needed an 8.5. So I sold those. And then with my my 750s, I just figured like, fuck, man, we just opened in this store. I need to get people in the door.
Yeah, you need a reason for people to be coming in. Yeah.
So I just
That's
like
a good way to get some foot traffic.
yeah, because I mean those are still like $2,000 right now. I think.
Yeah.
Those are still expensive.
So I guess that's a good talking point though for anyone that doesn't know. Union Street Shop was your sneaker and streetwear resale store that you had open here in New Orleans.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
How did that come about? Like, what made you want to start that store?
Gary V, round 2, and nothing to do. So when we left Refresh, I like I said, I was going through some things, so I spent a lot of time like by myself, me and my dog.
Lou?
Yeah, Louis.
Lou?
Yeah.
I saw the sticker.
Yeah.
I saw y'all did a sticker of Louis.
My dog Louis.
Shout out Louis.
And man, there was this clip of Gary V going around where he was like, everybody's lazy. Go to a garage sale, buy random shit.
I remember that. Being
We was talking to Charlemagne all the time at that time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this dude? I was like, first of all, who is this dude who thinks that he can talk? Like who does this dude think he is?
Yeah.
And after like the 4th or 5th time I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's so easy, huh, Gary V? Like, and I'm going through my own shit. I'm like, oh, you think it's so fucking easy, huh, Gary V?
Yeah.
All right, I got you. So I emptied my closet out. I was like, I'm gonna put all this on eBay, Gary V. Woo. Didn't make no money the first day. It was just clothes I hadn't worn since college. It was like 6-7-year-old clothes, Urban Outfitters, Gap, Polo, shit like that.
Yeah.
I woke up the next morning, I had made $11.
Rich.
And I was like, well, what I thought to myself is, I was like, all right, shipping is gonna be $2. It's first class. eBay's gonna take $1.10.
Yeah.
I was like, $7. I was like, and that's Cane's. I was like, that's
I got
Cane's.
dinner today.
I was like, that's a meal. I was like, I got 55 items listed. I was like,
so many box combos.
I was like, man, that's so much Cane's. But really, that's how I was like. At the time, I'm thinking like, I'm gonna make $7 to $10 an item. So I'm like, okay, if nothing else, I sell all of these items. That's 50 items. I was like, damn near. That's like damn near a month worth of. That's a month worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
got to worry about.
the second day I made like $18. So it's like once I saw some success, I was like, okay, he's not full of shit. I get it. It's just a good slogan, and it's kind of the truth. I hit the thrift. I I had never thrifted, but I knew I knew what looked good and
Yeah.
shit like that.
You had an eye for it.
That brand Valmont was out. A lot of people pronounce it Vetements.
I was just about to say, yeah. That's how I've always heard it.
Yeah, Valmont. And they remember they were doing the champion flip. They had the green hood.
Yeah.
This is right. This is right when Kanye was wearing. It's just right. Just 2016 is like the peak of like Kanye and the Kardashians and all that, right? And everybody wanted the Valmont. Valmont had flipped the champion logo to say Valmont. And this oversized green hoodie. It was short body, long arms, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I found the champion hoodie like that, the actual champion one, an older one, heavy, reverse knit, 14-ounce fleece in green in 2X in a thrift, right? But it looked like the Valmont one because it had been shrunk by whoever owned it.
Yeah.
So the arms were still like of a decent length, but it was short, had that look.
Man.
I got that for $7. I sold that in 24 hours for $130 to Germany.
Wow.
And I was like, and I did that in the first week, and I was like, oh yeah, he's right. I got
onto
this.
something, yeah.
I pulled like 2 Pyrex shirts out the thrift, got $150 a piece on those.
Wow.
And I just by the end of the summer, 2016, Wayne's like, I had been telling, I never forget, I was with me, Wayne, and a friend. We're at, where were we at? We were in line to get food. Where were we at?
Canes.
No, we weren't. It was like 4th of July, 2016. We're at the joint getting barbecue.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's how much money I made so far this month, Wayne, on eBay. Peep me out. It was like $500, July 4th. He's like, you serious? I'm like, I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
So Wayne started thrifting just because, like, the Rubik's Cube, right?
Yeah,
I've had those lying around for years. Once Wayne solved it, his brother Justin solved it, and once I had to look at my solved Rubik's Cubes that I couldn't solve in here, I had to do it. So that's how me and Wayne do each other.
Yeah.
So man, he starts thrifting. He empties his closet out. He's making money. But then Wayne starts making faster sales than me because I'm just taking photos. Black. Wayne taking like these stylized editorial style photos on the ground like we used to take at Refresh. I'm like, this motherfucker Wayne. I'm like, but I'm going to take that from him.
Yeah.
So I upgraded my whole eBay, updated all the photos. Now really rolling. I'm like, Wayne, a thrift store. I was like, because we open a thrift store, it'll have crazy turnover.
Mm-hmm.
People will always, and at this point, I'm following. I knew about the dudes from round 2 because of Alfred Banks. You guys familiar with Alfred Banks? Alfred Banks makes music in town.
That name sounds so familiar.
Shout out Alfred Banks.
Yeah.
He had been going around 2 in Virginia. He used to tell me like, oh Cody,
wow.
I love, man, this is a store, man. I get they sell me like the retro Jordans used for like $90. And like he's been telling me this is like 15, 14, whatever, like 2014. I'm like, I remember thinking like, I don't give a shit about those Jordans. I've never personally, I think I personally only owned 1 pair of used shoes in my life, but we'll get to that. And so like I'm watching Gary Vee, so now I'm spending all my time on YouTube. I'm like, I'm hooked. Gary Vee got me, hook, line, and sinker. I'm on Gary Vee. I think I'm still subscribed to Gary Vee's YouTube channel.
Still getting it.
And I guess like that YouTube algorithm, I guess they on my phone, they know I'm thrifting, right?
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden the round 2 show, which I had seen before, starts popping up. So now I'm watching that. And I'm like, it's a good show, man. These dudes are.
Yeah. I've watched a lot of it myself.
I was like, they got a good, like you can tell they're really friends. I always felt like he really, like I always liked that about them dudes. I felt like Sean Witherspoon and I think it's Russo.
Chris Russo. Yeah.
I thought that those dudes did a tremendous job of being really likable, easy to like dudes.
Yeah.
And what they were doing was not rocket science. They just made something that was kind of trivial feel very fun and welcoming. And it looked like, for all intents and purposes, it looked like they were turning over a lot of product. I'm like, okay, we ain't got this in New Orleans. I was like, So I'm telling Wayne, like, yo, man, I think we should look into that. The next day we found he was walking by. He sends me the location to Union Street Shop, like where Union was.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I don't want to be on this dead-end ass street. I wanted parking, man. We were looking at a space over by UNO in a shopping center.
Yeah.
I wanted parking, man. I paid so many parking tickets in the French Quarter of my life. Dealing with those.
Just for your own reason,
Dealing with those little evil parademons in them blue shirts. I don't got no love for them. I don't want to apologize.
No shout outs.
I don't want to apologize.
Unshout out you. Yeah.
Shoot.
But the landlord for that property was a clown too, and the people in Union Street, that was like 3 blocks from my house. It was like our little neighborhood, and it was like they really wanted us in there. Like they were. That was the first shout out to Caesar, my old landlord, on Union Street, because he's the first guy to ever give me a chance to open my own business. First guy I ever felt like didn't judge me because I was young or of the way Wayne and I looked. Like me and Wayne had a handshake deal to open our own spot in 2014. Guy goes to France with his wife, tells us like, hey, me and my wife are going on vacation. Order all your inventory, blah blah blah. We'll get rolling when we get back. And then he dodged me for a week. Come to find out, he made another deal while he was in France with someone. And rather than just let me know that, had me chasing him around like you know. So good thing we didn't order all our inventory. However, we did get a bunch of shirts printed for Like Sushi, which was only making hats at that time. So that's how Like Sushi started making clothes. Because we had ordered inventory for a store that didn't fucking have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have shirts.
Yeah. But so man, by the end of that year, I'm thinking about, doing the spot, and we found Union, and I had another friend who was into things, and he wanted to just invest a little bit of money into something. And I was like, well, look, man, I'm gonna do this regardless. I was like, you want to be our partner? I was like, all I need though is two promises: full creative control and full fucking creative control.
Yeah.
I was like full creative control and full operational control. I was like, you look at the books all day long. I was like, but I'm not having nobody tell me how to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, if that's the case, I'll just keep flipping on eBay.
Yeah.
And that's how we got the store open, man.
Yeah. And how long did it ran for 2-3 years?
A week before Christmas 2016 till Halloween night 2019.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. So about 3 years there. So
yep.
Getting started, was it you? Well, you had already sold all your shoes at that point. So how were you getting inventory at that point? It was just buying
all
from
the
friends?
clothes, man. We probably had 1,000+ items of clothes at that time. The partner that joined in with us, now I look crazy. I was like, look, bro, you got to sell your sneakers. This shit is like this. And to my defense, all the stuff he had, he didn't have anything that would be more valuable now.
Gotcha.
But it was like he had a bunch of stuff like. If I don't think he'll ever watch this, but if he does, don't get offended. He had a bunch of stuff that they got them suckers on. Like he had all the GRs. He had like he had like the cherry, the gray. See, that's another thing. I hate these nicknames. He had the 13s, the 13s with like the maroonish, like not they were meant to be the red ones with the red. The original 13s with the red.
Those.
Yeah. Then they did those retro ones with like the gray toe and the maroon.
The gray. Yeah.
He had like those. He had the lab, the patent leather lab 4s, patent leather lab 5s.
Yeah.
He had just like he had got caught up like a lot of people, what I consider in that era of when Nike was like testing out to see, can we release every week?
Yeah.
Like can we pick a model a year and just whore it out?
Yeah.
Like this year's going to be the 4 and we're going to drop 55 Air Jordan 4s. So I was basically telling him like, look, man, you want to, like, he said he was kind of getting over it. He kind of leaned that way. I'm like, look, now, no better time than now. I was like, keep the ones you want to keep, and we should get rid of the rest of these. I think we had bought I had gone to Foster. They sold me some. I went pick out stuff that I thought was cool that they had on sale. I was like, look, man, you got this stuff on sale. You let me buy a couple pairs. I was like, I think they look good. Like I learned that was one of the lessons I learned at Refresh is like sometimes people try and be too cute and outsmart themselves, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm probably gonna have a bunch of people come in here from December 17th to New Year's Eve. Well, that's what I'm hoping, right? It's Christmas rush. I just don't want them to think I got 3 pairs of shoes on the shelf. Right. I'd rather them see 50 pairs of mediocre shoes than 3 unattainable $500, $800 shoes, And man, it's shout out New Orleans, shout out everybody who shopped at Union Street Shop because you guys showed me a ton of love and it was a really enjoyable experience. But yeah, man, like we weren't even open the first day we were open. We had just, like, the store was ready. It was, like, the first time looking at it at night with the lights on. And somebody's like, yo, man, what's this? And we're like, oh, we're about to open a thrift store.
Yeah.
You're the first guy.
Come on.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I miss those days so much because I mean, like, I found out about y'all when you did the pop up with Joefreshgoods. I don't know if you remember. That was the first time I came over.
I didn't know that was the first time, but I remember the pop up with Joefreshgoods.
How did that come about? Did he reach out to y'all for that?
So we did a pop up with Joe in 2016.
Okay. Where at? Just like its own thing, or was it?
Okay. So how did we get connected? I can't remember how exactly we got connected with Joe, but Free Water was throwing their very first event. Free Water won 40-ounce bounce with 40-ounce van at the House of Blues in 2016. That was French Quarter Fest weekend. And they wanted to do like a Free Water weekend. And the thing they wanted to do is they wanted to bring Joefreshgoods down and do a pop-up with Joefreshgoods. And we have a relationship with Joe because I've been seeing Vic Lloyd, who's the other who does Fat Tiger with, who they used to be leaders. I had been seeing Vic at the trade shows for years.
Okay.
And Vic was really cool with Mike Camargo, Upscale Vandal on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, I know the name.
Who used to be our BBC rep, was all our BBC rep. So I had met Vic that way. So I'd always kept in touch with him because those guys have ties to New Orleans. So Frankie and Marty at Free Water wanted to do a pop-up with Joefreshgoods that weekend. And we were going to do it at Refresh, but there was just creative differences there. So what we did was we did a pop-up out of a van. Like a Chevy van, like a big white.
Yeah.
Like we got photos of it. I'll send them to you.
The literal pop up.
Yeah. And Joe sold out all his stuff, and they sold out all their stuff, and we sold a bunch of stuff. And I think Joe just liked because the way we did it was, man, we literally parked on Decatur Street in a van, and people were able to come up to Joe, dap him off, take photos, and buy stuff from him. And if you listen to interviews and stuff now, he's still like that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah,
that's what he likes to do. So. I don't remember how the second one came about. I don't remember like how it came up, but like it was just I think somebody saw that
he was doing like a little bit of a tour at the time, doing different major cities.
I think Frankie and them had reached back out to him like, yeah, man, just bring him by. Like it's gonna be WrestleMania. He's like, that's like I know that he's like kind of in that world. So yeah, it was just a no brainer. Like and if nothing else, bro, I just want to hang out. Like we just want to hang out again. Like that is my favorite thing about this is like you meet people. Like I met you guys and like you guys, like I'm like I consider you guys my friends now. Like we ain't got to hang out at each other's house every weekend. We have a shared interest in something, and I'm sure the more we talk, there's more shared interest. That's how it is with Joe. Like we bonded over like laughing about wrestling and smoking weed and rap music and getting fired from jobs and like people not listening. It's like you have mutual experiences. Like I met Cliff Skywalker, who's his friend, who is I had known about Cliff for years because Cliff was like this guy who was like important in the Detroit scene with sneakers and music and culture. And like I had seen that from afar, Tumblr, MySpace, Instagram, Nike Talk, all this, right? So to meet that dude in person, it was like, I felt like I knew him. I even told him as such. I'm like, bro, I've been following what you've been doing for years. Like I'm a fan. Like, it's a pleasure to meet you. Bro, and I don't like telling stories like this because they just like everybody, like people love to tell Al Bundy stories, right? But man, like I remember being at the Liberty trade show I hate to use years because I get them wrong, but John Elliott did his one and only year of doing the trade shows. He was showing. The shit was sold. Like it was the talk of the trade show. And I'm sitting in the middle of the trade show with Alan Onyea from Upscale Hype and Jerry Lorenzo, who's talking about how he's about to, he's about to do his own thing. He got his own project in the works. He was moving around with Kanye at the time. This is like that this is the Y3 black and white Adidas Jerry Lorenzo. And like no, we're sitting in the middle of a trade show, like nobody's talking to Jerry Lorenzo. Like nobody's coming up to Jerry Lorenzo for a photo. On autograph.
Now.
Hey Jerry. And he's my favorite American designer right now, him and John Elliott. Because like his stuff's expensive and it's a little extravagant, but it's still practical.
I have just some of the essentials pieces because I can't,
And that's what makes it cool too, is that
he recognized that there's an audience that wants access to my product, probably can't justify that price point, but
I don't want them to have the H&M knockoff.
Exactly.
Like if you're gonna have a a pared down version of what I make is gonna be my pared down. I'm gonna pare that shit down. I'm not gonna let somebody else do it. Like
but that's just that type of vision of being like, well, someone else is gonna do it. Why not I do it?
Yeah.
Why not I do it at the same price point?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get you're gonna get definitely a better quality than whatever the knockoff places are gonna be. So that type of vision. It's just weird to think, like you said, the story of being like at the show with them, and it's like right at the beginning of him being like, "Oh, something's coming."
Yeah, because he was working with Kanye at the time. Like that's what he was talking about. He's like, you know, like, what's funny is like what I remember about that trade show too is I remember seeing Joe. I remember seeing Joe at that trade show, and like that was like the last time I saw Joe, and he wasn't like, and not to say like he acts this way, but I'm saying like every time I saw Joe after that year. He was Joefreshgoods.
Oh,
like people want to talk to Joefreshgoods. They jammed up Joefreshgoods. It was crazy. Like so many people in that room, not including me, don't include myself in that at all, but so many people in that room, like it was like being in like that picture on Slam magazine with Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant and Jason Kidd. Like if nothing else, man, I feel extremely privileged for someone who wanted to do this and was a fan of it as in college, like to have interacted with all these dudes who are phenomenally, exceptionally successful. Like I was talking about with one time at dinner, it was me, Mike Camargo, Easy from RSVP, who works with Travis Scott, Laylee May, Vic from Leaders, the young guy, I can't think of his name. Oh wait, no, he wasn't out in Cali. That was up in New York when I had this. I've just met so many people, man. Like
so much potential and talent at that one table.
And then it's like, and then you know, I was like, I'm proud to have known Derek from the jump because like Derek actually was the first person to let me put anything I had designed in his store. So it's like, again, like I told you guys this off camera before, but like I got nothing but love and respect for Derek Curry on a personal level, personally just Cody, because of what he's done for Cody. Like professionally, like the lines always get blurry. Like a lot of people, like, you know, in this business, like it's a tough business. But I personally, I got nothing but love for that guy because he was already on his way and he didn't have to show me no love. And I don't think he sold a single one of them fucking shirts. Like, I don't think...
Were they under the Like Sushi name or it was under the Politics name?
No, I had a brand called BSBCBU.
Okay.
Be Safe, Be Cool, Be You.
Okay.
And, you know, I worked on that for a long time. There's still some people always like, bring it back. But I learned something with that brand. It's like, people got to be able to say your shit, bro. Like you don't want people being like BBSB.
Well, I mean, you're talking to two guys who started a podcast named State of the Shoonion, and then after 1 month was like, how about we just go by Shoe Podcast? They're like, so Instagram is just at Shoe Podcast, website shoepodcast.com. I was like 10 times easier than try to tell someone how to spell Shoonion.
Hey, Wayne loved the zine, man. Wayne.
Oh, appreciate it.
Wayne, when I brought the zine over here, Wayne found the zine, and he was like, oh, man, who did this? I'm like, oh, man, some guys used to shop at the store that I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all good. Oh, it's all good. Yeah, that's how we get down, though.
Yeah.
We're live.
It's chilling. It's cool.
That's how we get down.
Yeah.
No, man, I'm glad you guys are doing it, and I'm glad that we're sitting here and doing it, like, at this level, because when we started our podcast, like, I felt like people don't give themselves enough value. And that's all I wanted to do with my podcast. I wanted to give you a platform to talk about yourself or what's going on in your life. And it's like, make it feel as big as you want it to feel.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the platform. You can be as big as you want to. Because, like I said, like, I'm sure there's some people who are going to hear this story I just told you about all them guys and be like, damn, Cody, that, like, no, you up there, and be like, bro, I'm never going to view myself like that. Like, at the end of the day, I'm Cody. I go home to my baby and my girl, and that's, like, that's who I am. Like, that's as simple as that. Like, I can't view myself as anything more than that. It don't feel right. I don't know. Maybe that's false humility. I don't know.
Well, that hearing you say that really speaks, because when we went to Union, I know it was my first time going. I think that you had already been.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it before you ended up getting here. the same thing, like you said, what you thought was the best Nike Yeezy. We saw him sitting up top, and we're like, oh my god, like it's crazy. You know, like never in my life would I thought I would see those. And we're talking about them, like how cool they are, and you're like, oh, I mean, if you want, I could take them down for you. You can check them out. And we're like, oh man, like don't worry about it. We're not gonna buy them. Like we do not have that kind of cash. Like we can't do it. And you were just like, nah, that's fine. Like you just, just hearing you talk and things like that, immediately that's just the kind of person you are, the energy you put out. You're just like, hey, I like them, you like them, y'all ain't gonna buy them, that's fine, check them out. Like I probably will never ever in my life be able to do that, but literally walk into your store, you have no idea who I am, and you're just like, yeah, here you go, here, hold this $2,000 pair of shoes.
Do you remember that day at all?
I remember you saying it like I remember meeting you now that you say that.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, man, because that was the analogy I used to use in college. Like when I was trying to get people to understand why I wanted to have a clothing line and why I was going to own a sneaker store. I was like, these things are limited in the sense of like a lot of people want them and there ain't enough for everybody. I was like, most people are never going to own a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, bro. And that's the only reason you want that thing. I was like, yeah, it looks great. They look
exclusivity.
Great. It's exactly. It's like I used to always joke, and it's like it's a thing if you really think about it. Like imagine if Honda made a car that was low, wide, and long, like a supercar, which they did. They made the NSX, right?
Yeah.
But like imagine if they really wanted to fuck the market up, and they're like, look, we're gonna put out our big low wide car, all electric, turbocharged. It's $42,000 fully loaded.
Yeah.
Boy, there'd be a lot of people who you see overstretching themselves for them cars they can't afford.
Oh.
All of a sudden they'd be like, but man, this Honda's real nice. like I'm not compensating. Like, bro, I'm not rationalizing it. No, it's really the one I want.
Yeah, like, dude, if you love it, I love it.
Yeah, and that's how I felt about sneakers. It's like, you'd walk around in 2008, might be in New Orleans. Like for example, when I first met Wayne and all these guys, All-Star Weekend in 2008, it's like, there were people who were still dressed like it was 2005, and then there were people who weren't. And it's like, that's how you kind of knew where you fell in. Like, oh, these guys' style is a little different than mine, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, if you had like these indicators to your style, it'd be like, okay, you're really into that. Like, man, if you had the nerd dunks on, you'd be like, damn, okay. Like, you're really into sneakers.
Yeah.
You didn't accidentally find those.
No, yeah. You didn't come up on those at Ross, Yeah.
Back in the day, my favorite thing to do when I was a kid, watching like our high school play basketball, I used to love to see who on the other team would have the Jordans, because he's probably the best.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was true, and sometimes it wasn't. But a lot of times, it was like, just like as a kid, you used to always be like, when I was a kid, like playing basketball, like against teams you didn't know, it's like, all right, who got number 23 on? Because he probably think he the one.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you got to age, it's like, who got number 1? Like Penny, who got 32? Like these are the dudes who think they don't, like, it just always, like as a kid, it used to blow my mind when somebody'd have like a shitty number, like 11 or like 12, and he's just really good. Like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong? Don't you look up to anyone?
Like, man, they tell that dude in the bench to take that 23 off, give it to you.
Put it on him. Yeah.
Fucking with my mind. Look, man, that's like the first time when like I realized that, like when I got that in New Orleans, man. It's like guys in New Orleans, like New Orleans has one of the best sneaker cultures I've ever seen in life, period. Because like these dudes are gonna wear Jordans till the end, bro.
Till they don't make them
like,
20 years later.
Like all these other places where retro Jordans sat on the shelves and like Jordans don't sell out still, like today, like people probably make jokes, like there's probably major cities where Jordans don't sell out in there. Shit, not here, bro.
Not here. No.
I know them.
As long as Dickie fits and stuff, like and camo is.
I
like,
was saying it's gonna be strong.
Yeah, Jordans, man. I don't know, man. Sneakers. It's been I guess you could say, like, who'd have thought that it would have taken me all these places, but I did. I thought that, I thought that.
Do you have anything else major you want to hit on? I mean, we can keep going.
We can talk about whatever, bro. Like I said, like I cut shit out for you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to know why the brand is called Like Sushi.
Oh yeah.
Oh, why is the brand called Like Sushi? For one, is because it sounds fucking cool. That's the first one. It sounds really, really fucking cool. If if we're like, if we're looking at cool, that's somewhat objective. It just flows off the tongue. I told you guys about BSBCBU. It's a lot easier to say than that. Number two, and this is kind of one of those things that's like like I guess my parents named me Cody, right? It's not my given name. I was given a name in Korea, but my parents here, they named me Cody. My father named me after Buffalo Bill Cody, who was a cowboy in the Wild West. This is what Cody, Wyoming's named after, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I found that out recently.
The more you know.
So I guess maybe I'm named after Cody, Wyoming as well, since I'm named after the guy Cody Wyoming's named after, right? Very first pictures you ever saw of me in my life, some of them are me in cowboy boots, right? Cowboy hat. Like, I wanted to be a cowboy as a kid. Still to this day, I feel like there's still a lot of cowboy in me, in the fact of, like, I want to wander into the wild. I'm going to do what I want on my own speed, on my own time. And I ain't afraid to get up on that buck and bronco neither. Like, and that's just who I am. So it's like, whether my father knew that or whether that's just who I was and the universe lined us up that way, that's why my name is, my name. So as we grew with Like Sushi, when I think about the word, because it's one word, not two, it's Like Sushi, that's our word. It's not like sushi, it's like sushi. There was no better way to describe who Wayne and I were and what we were trying to get you to understand. Like, for example, sushi's an art form in Japan. They don't eat it with chopsticks, and people dedicate their whole lives to that. But meanwhile, here in America, it's just some shit for people to be cute with.
It's at a gas station.
And it's like, damn, ain't that some shit? Ain't that some American shit? Just like sushi, just like, and it's like, I realized that it was just, again, it's like the stars like lining up, and then a big part of it for me is, and I'm probably guilty of it in this hour and a half we've been talking, is that people don't know how to slow down and formulate their speech anymore or really say what they mean. And instead it's all about like the average American probably says like a bajillion times a day. So, like, oh yeah, like that bird over there, or be like water. Favorite quote from Bruce Lee, be formless, be like water, or be a little bit crazy, be like sushi, kind of like it flows, man. It made a bunch of sense. It doesn't have any ties to like Asian heritage other than that I am Asian, I'm not Japanese, so it's not that. That always kind of throws Asian people. I meet Asian people a lot, and I have like my hoodie on to be like, oh, like sushi, are you Japanese?
No.
I'm Korean from the deepest bayous of Louisiana.
Little blend.
I didn't like sushi the first time I ate it. I ate it in college. I was like, man, why do people eat this shit? It's terrible. Now I could eat it all day long, all day, every day. But I think that we as a brand and as people are oftentimes misjudged and misunderstood, very much like sushi.
Mm.
God damn.
That's a damn good answer.
Phew.
I could do that for your brand too if you want.
Yeah, for real.
I'm available for consulting services.
How much for a tagline?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was saying. But just like this whole thing, especially with getting down and being able to have that conversation of like, what was the creation? How elegantly you just said of the what nobody really takes the time to think about a brand name. You know what I mean? Like, very little are you thinking about the brand name, and you just, this is what it's called, that's what it's called, and you don't really think about it. But like, being able to sit down and have the conversation of like, no, there is some thought into it. This is the explanation of like why the brand is called this way. This is also how we move forward with things like that, is the mindset of the business as well. I feel like I get that. Like I said, I've only met you very, very few times, but the times that I do interact with you, everything like that, it feels that way. Same thing meeting Wayne today. You know what I mean? Like, the energy that y'all have is exactly in that name, and hearing that, the way you explain it, things like that, is just the way y'all present yourselves. And it is one of those things, how it feels like the brand and everything that you've done so far is changing, essentially, of like, hey, we're going to go and we're going to do this new thing. We're going to take a different spin on something. Like, it doesn't have to be this exact same way for forever. How boring is that going to be if we just keep seeing the same thing, keep doing the same thing? Like, why can't we deviate? Why can't we put our own little, juju on it? And it's just, as I say, that's why I was so excited to be able to sit down with you, because it just feel like kind of how you said, you get in your name, maybe there was something there, who it was. Like when Ryan was like, yo, we finally get to sit down with Cody, I was like, I know this is going to be great, because the first time I met you, just kicking it in your shop, I was like, this dude has got a shit ton to talk about. Yeah. Like just so much of experience. And similar story, like I said, when we went to Union and we were holding those Yeezys and you just letting two random ass dudes walk into your shop, having the conversation with you was great. We literally still to this day talk about the high of buying hype shoes in your store at the same time. So I was able to buy these.
Oh yeah, that's true.
At Union,
I remember.
Which is what I was talking with Wayne with just speaks again to just kind of the mindset and the person that you are. One, these are sitting on, pretty good pair of shoes, not the most hype, but to me, I was very excited to finally see it, because when I got to see Jordan in these, because I remember seeing Jordan in these and being like, this is amazing, you know what I mean? And being like, hey man, like, could I try this on? And you just being like, yeah. And you just went in the bag, grab some cardboard, just stand on that, and just like the fact that you were just like, maybe he buys it, maybe he doesn't, but let me put my feet in them. Yeah. I was like, this dude is just, you just operate on a different kind of level type thing. But we literally to this day are just like, we reminisce of that one time in Union. We're like, man, you remember when we both copped and how great it was?
I gotta tell you two stories about that day. So like, okay, the Yeezy story. So I don't know if you remember this, and maybe I'm telling you a story about you. You grabbed the Yeezy 2, the Zen Gray, down from the shelf. We're looking at it. Of course, a little bit we know we're not going to buy it. We don't want to mess it up. Me, fearful to the point I'm like, I'm not touching it. Like, I'll just sit there and look at it. I don't know if you remember this. It made me laugh. It's on the counter. Tanner wants to rotate it, but he doesn't want to touch it. Elbow. He starts scooting the shoe. And I just remember you with like just the most flat voice going, you can touch it. Like you were like, it's a shoe. You can touch it. So I remember that. And then, I don't know if I ever told you this. Like growing up, I always just had like a debit card. I've never been great with financial literacy. I'm learning that recently. So I only got my first credit card a couple years ago.
We're probably telling them too much here.
Maybe too much. Maybe everyone's running too much. First purchase I ever put on my credit card, $500 at Union Street Shop. And it was that day. And I had them and I walked out with the shoes. And I remember thinking to myself, this is why I didn't want a credit card. Like,
and we still didn't make it. We still didn't make it, fellas.
Yeah. But I did love that. Because we very much had a thing where like I could see you post a pair of shoes. It was really cool to be able to hit you up, figure out a price and Venmo you and be like, okay, cool, just put them to the side. I'll be in New Orleans a couple of weeks from now. The Joefreshgoods thing, like I remember, I think y'all's business hours, quote unquote, was until 6. I remember getting off of work at 5, driving straight there, getting there and be like, oh no, we're out of t-shirts. And like, I walked out, I was down the block. You came and chased me down. You're like, hey man, hit me back up. Like, we're going to print more t-shirts. We'll have more of these. So it's like stories like that, I think is just kind of like what made us so excited to sit down with you and talk to you about all of it.
Man, I appreciate that. I really do. Admittedly, man, it's nice to hear that stuff. I'm not going to lie. Because like we talked about a little bit like regret, like with the shoes, and it's all like, man, if you would have told me that I would be right here in this moment where I'm at right now 10 years ago, I could have believed you. But if you'd have told me what I had to do to get here, I'd be like, nah, no way. There's no way it gets that bad and then gets that good, then gets that bad, then gets that good. There's no way, bro. I'm not gonna let it. There's no way I'm gonna let myself get. But it's just like sometimes, man, the universe, we talk about the universe a lot, man. You try and change your stars, you try and push the universe is gonna push back. The universe don't like when, like, the universe likes when things go the way they want it to go. And it's like if you ready to change that trajectory, man, be prepared to face some pushback.
Yeah.
So like in January and February when I'm driving Uber, I'm thinking to myself like, man, I just had my own stores. Like I had 2 of my own stores. Like it's midnight. I'm driving around, like driving strangers around so I can pay my bills. And Then coronavirus happens, and I'm like, fuck, I ain't got no leases.
Hey, universe hit
What
you.
ain't he?
Universe hit you with that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I was like, I look at my fiance. She was my fiance at the time. I'm like, it's like May 2nd or something. I'm like, she's like, what? I was like, yesterday would have been the second month in a row when I had to pay 2 leases on some spaces that the state don't let me go in
Yeah,
and don't let
exactly.
me make a dollar. I was like, and not to mention my business was taking dirty clothes and dirty shoes from people. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I thought the Lord had cursed me.
You were sad for 2 months, but then happy for 12. You know.
Yeah.
Bless you, young man.
Universe was like,
Here's a carefree year.
Exactly. And then, I mean, obviously, like you said, like even knowing, I mean, like the space that you're in now, what you're moving, the way that you operate now. So like it ended up becoming, you know what I mean? Like if you wouldn't have closed those 2 spaces, would you be, you know what I mean? Would you have held on to that? And I think that hearing Union closing was like, damn, that sucks. Like, I love that place. Like, that was great, but then it again just speaks to you of just being like, I'm gonna move on from this because I know that I can do this. There's gonna be some time where it might not, it might be tight, but I can move on from here to make it better. You know what I mean? Like it always seems, and just with you talking about just like the history and things like that of like how you've been in it, it seems like you have also been one of those people who, kind of like how you mentioned, people were dressing in 2005 like they were in 2008, but then there was people that knew something new was coming. It seems like you were that person of like, I know in 2 to 3 years something's gonna change. It's not gonna be like this. Why not just say I'm just gonna end it now to get ready for that. I'm gonna be ahead of the game. So when 3 years comes, I'm already in it. I'm already ready for it. You know what I mean? Rather than trying to hold on to what is successful now. But again, like I said, it just seems like you just seem like that type of person that just that can see that trend and say, fuck it, I'm not going to just start when it happens. I'm just going to make it happen now.
Yeah.
Well, crazy enough, man. The Union, Union was easy to let go because it was always a means to an end. Union was just the boat. It was just the boat to get to the country of likesushi again. That's all it was. Just happened to be good at it. Just happened to be successful. I just happened to spend so much time in retail that I was done with people coming in stores that I worked at, feeling like they were dealing with a dickhead, feeling like they were shopping for stuff that they couldn't afford. That's almost like we were teasing them with it. And it's like, nah, fuck that. I want you to come in my store and think like, man, who the fuck are these dudes? Like like you know what's crazy, man? In 3 years, we had one incident of shoplifting, and the dude brought the stuff back because we knew the person he was with. And we're like, yo, man, that ain't cool. You ain't got to do that. And they brought the shit back. We only had one break-in, and that shit got resolved because people are silly. But, like, man, we got tons of love at Union. To this day, people are like, man, when you reopening Union.
That's me texting you every week.
You need to reopen Union. And I was like, bro, I tell you the truth. If I had some dudes I could trust, I probably would. If I had some people, and I know I'm get a million DMs now, but that business, like, I'll say this, you're right. I do try and stay ahead, but like, that was one of the most sustainable, and that was me and Wayne's word. It was one of the most sustainable businesses ever, because the truth of the matter is, textiles, clothing, and shoes, there's too many of them on the planet. There's an abundance of it. Like, if we're gonna get serious for a split second, that day's coming when that sneaker bubble's gonna burst, man. All these middle class kids, all these kids with mommy and daddy's money. I mean, literally mom's credit card. You know what I'm talking about. Wayne and I were talking about NFTs yesterday, man. Like, I watched trading cards fall through the floor. And it's like, oh, now like a Zion Diamond Elite card is worth $1 million. And it's like, as I told him, I'm like, how can anything related to Zion be worth more than a Michael Jordan rookie? I'm like, let's just do the simple math on how many mint condition Michael Jordan rookies there could possibly be in existence 40 years later, right?
Yeah.
As compared to a Zion card they printed in the last 12 months.
Just supply and demand, you would think. Yeah.
Nah, I just think that the powers that be are pushing that narrative right now, and it's a thing.
get a couple people to pay that money, and then all of a sudden, then the whole world says, "Oh, well, then
Now it's
that's the
worth
new
it.
shit."
Yeah.
And that's how much it costs. You know
Yeah,
what
so
I mean?
nah, man. Like in closing with Union, I just wanted it to be. I wanted it to be the place that you guys like the way you guys remember it.
Yeah.
When it was open and when it closed. That's all I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be a place where people felt like they got ripped off, or they felt like we were price gouging, or they felt like we were like, hurry up and buy, hurry up and buy. I really wanted it to be that place that, like, if it didn't last, that it was like, damn, that was a good time.
It
Damn,
was.
it's
You know,
good
that's
era.
That's exactly
Yeah,
how
yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cute.
Man,
Wipe a little tear.
I was gonna say, I feel like that's probably a good place to end this thing on such a good happy note like that. So,
yeah.
man, can't thank you enough for doing.
Oh
an
no,
episode
man,
with
it's
us.
been a pleasure, man. I could have
Yeah.
talked to you. I watched Justice League in 2 sittings. I could have talked to you guys for a minute. Look, I'm gonna ask you guys some questions. What's your favorite sneaker?
Favorite sneaker, man. Now I got to think. Now I got to come back to that one. So I have.
Well, I know.
You know mine?
My
Oh.
favorite,
You know yours?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead then. Let me think on it.
the band bread ones.
The actual band ones?
Yeah, with the X on it, with the X on the back.
Yeah.
The what was that? 2000.
11.
Yeah, we ran it up.
Those.
Yeah.
We ran it up. Everybody at Refresh had them.
Yeah.
Those.
And you know how I knew? Because I was like, yo, fellas, Nike talk. Nike Outlet's going to have them tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate those.
Oh.
The cut,
Part 2 coming at you soon. Just
love.
2 of y'all duking it out.
No.
Love.
The cut wasn't right. That's another thing about Air Jordan 1s. I'm real picky about the cut.
Well, they ain't the most comfy.
No.
Also that.
Shoe?
I mean, I'm a real big sucker for local and storytelling. So, like, crawfish dunks, beignets, humidity trumpets, probably all up there for me just because I love local shops,
Man of my
everything
own
like
heart.
that.
I fuck with how you, like, yeah,
So,
there you go.
All that. If you want to go like something recent, though, Nike ACG just recently put out called the Mountain Fly Gore-Tex. Just super utilitarian waterproof shoe. I've been fucking with that lately. But local
Unbelievably
collabs, I mean, you saw the stickers we sent you. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a bunch
Who
of
did those?
fanboy. Our friend Vanessa, who's an artist. So
Shout
Tanner-
out Vanessa.
Yeah, shout out
Yes,
Vanessa.
Yes, unbelievable.
Tanner and I came up with the idea. She did the execution, and they came out better than we could have imagined.
Tight.
Yeah,
All right, man, that's curious.
awesome.
I mean, my favorite shoe
Yeah.
is
All time.
all time. Of all time.
All time.
All time.
That's favorite.
I had that-
Favorite or like, so what do we mean by favorite? We mean favorite like.
Here's
like,
what's interesting. I had this conversation with someone at work the other
because
day.
it's like we're talking like you get this one, it's all you get to wear.
That's what they said. So someone said, we were talking about candy for some dumb reason. They were like, what's your favorite candy? And then they went desert island candy. And I was like, wouldn't your favorite candy by just definition be your desert? Like,
guess
it's your
maybe not.
favorite. What's your favorite?
I don't want
you
a
know?
Reese's in the sun.
Yeah, well, I mean,
the
I guess, like, favorite, you appreciate the Jordan 1 band a lot. But yeah, I guess if I flip it on, like, and you had to wear it every day, you'd be like, I like Ultra Boost now. You know, you'd be like, give me a slipper.
Ooh, man, if it's like favorite all time, you get one shoe for the rest of your life. Oh, it's different now.
It's cool. You have 2 answers, like favorite all time and like,
Nah, I could just tell you all the shoes that I think are like I just run them off the top of my head. Like
List 'em.
750 Boost,
yeah.
Yes.
Fear God 1,
I was just, I know you're big on the Fear of God.
Fear
one.
God 1, 750 Boost, Fear God Shoot Around, Nike Air Jordan 1, Nike Air Jordan 11, Adidas Ultra Boost,
Mm-hmm. Nike
Nike Air Max 90 Infrared.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Did you get the retro they did last year?
No, I don't. I went on this. I went on this tirade for about 2 years. I was like, I'm not wearing outdated technology. This is stupid. Like what? Like I don't see me walking around here Windows 95 while I'm wearing some old ass motherfucking shoes.
I'm not taking out my Nokia phone
And
to
then
get all the sneakers out.
I realized style is kind of forever, and I kind of like
Yeah.
so I got like some Vomeros and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I think favorite shoe is hard, and I think that's how we all end up with like 50 pairs of shoes in our closet.
Yep.
That is exactly how we do it.
But like the classics are the classics. I really like these. What I got on right now, I got these Adidas Human Made Campus.
Mm-hmm.
These are awesome. Like I've worn a lot of like Adidas classic styles over the last couple of years, and what I realized I hate shell toes, so I don't like the toe. But
Yeah.
the Campus and the Gazelle for my foot,
Yeah.
Gazelles
I love
are
them a
great.
lot. And I wanted to point this out. Look, I need people like I just named my favorite shoes. Most of them were like Air Yeezy 1,
Yeah.
Black Yeezy 2.
Ooh.
Like I like all so like I got Nike socks on right now. Like I don't hate Nike. They don't pay me enough to not wear these Adidas shoes with them socks.
Yeah.
You know,
Right about
neither
that.
company's paying me enough to not cross brand.
Let me tell you what, you're a man after my heart because you're not afraid to wear Adidas shoes with Nike socks.
Now look, I ain't gonna wear no Adidas sweatsuit with no Nike shoes. Like, we're not gonna go there.
Okay, so there's a line.
Oh, see, no.
Socks for me, I think, are a fair game.
See me, I'm not
Adidas
I'm
track
not
pants
afraid
with
to
Nike
shake.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll wear the Adidas sweater with the Air Maxes.
But thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Thank you so
it
much
was
for
a
being on the
pleasure.
show.
I'm gonna send you guys with some rum. So to take home, you could be
okay.
some of the only guys in Baton Rouge. It's actually from Lafayette.
Okay.
This is Wildcat Brothers. We distill all the rum out in Lafayette. So shout out to them. And let me just do a quick run of shout outs. You guys said I could do that?
Please.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
wanna
Camera over there is the one you want to look
I want
at.
to shout out Cy Parker, Cy James Parker. Cy, thank you. Cy gave me my first job. He really got me started in all this. I want to shout out Ronnie from Ruckus, who's been a great mentor to pretty much everybody I know in the business over the last couple years. Shout out to Phil over at Humidity for showing us Like Sushi a bunch of love over the years. Shout out to Derek at Politics for the same thing. Always really holding me down, no questions asked. Shout out to John and Patrick and Rome over at Foster. Also, like, we've done a number of pop-ups with them. Those dudes are doing some really cool things, I think, too. I think they don't get enough credit at all. Shout out to Brennan Rabb. Shout out to all of my friends in New Orleans the last 10 years, like, really made home. You know, I'm forever grateful to the city of New Orleans and the city of Baton Rouge. I love Baton Rouge. I got so much love for Baton Rouge. And shout out to the New Orleans Boxing Club, the number one place in New Orleans to be, my favorite spot in New Orleans, 2831 in North Conti.
There you go.
And shout out to my homegirl Macy Chasson, who's fighting on the UFC card tonight. Hope she gets that dub.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and
Cool.
shout out to the State of the Union podcast
There
for
you go.
having me. This has been
course.
I've been on a couple of podcasts. This has been the best one.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. So, thanks everyone out there for listening to another episode of State of the Union. You can catch us on Instagram at Shoe Podcast and online at shoepodcast.com. We'll be back next week with another one. Peace.